So hi, Dimitri. I think I pronounced it right. Dimitri, right?
Yes, it's correct.
Perfect. So what was the very first line of code you wrote as kid? I guess as kid.
Okay. I think it was something like print, and I don't remember what is in the print. Maybe hello, maybe something else. Basically, the story is that my mother, she's a programmer. And sometimes back in 80s, she took me to her workplace. And at that time, they received a brand new PC XT, the first 8080 model, right? Just to play games there. So I was so addicted to games, still addicted a little bit, that I wanted to create my own game there, right? And it was a BASIC, so I used BASIC to create something simple. And that time, it was actually my first code I've written.
Okay. And your mother, which programming language she used back then?
Basically mainframes. I think it was PL1 mainly.
I think I still did some PL1. So I know I did. I teach. It was like couple of years ago. There were some programmers used PL1. So there is a still used language. It stands for Programming Language 1, right?
And don't ask me because I don't know what is that. Never used it.
Okay, cool. So and why you wrote the very first line? I mean, if you could play games, why to bother open? There's one on the terminal. Like start the. On PC, you had actually to load BASIC, so it's even worse. You had to load BASIC, to write print something. So why you did it?
Because it's always interesting to write something new, right? There is a limited amount of games, and I want to use my creativity to create something better than I had. It's very interesting to create your own game,
Yeah. So you were bored with games, and then you wanted to hack something new.
You can say that, yeah. Maybe I just wanted to make the games better.
Okay, cool. And what is your expectation? So what is the idea? That you will, write an awesome game or something like this? Or why you started, writing the print stuff?
It's just interesting, then you caught something, you create something, and I kind of enjoy the creativity. Okay. That I can do whatever I want. I can ask computer, I can force computer to do what I want, not use some other applications created by other people.
Yeah, cool. So what was your the truly creative program you wrote, the first one?
Fully creative program I wrote. I don't remember, to be fair.
Or more complicated, at least, something beyond print.
Something beyond print. I think I actually created some kind of a small game, Tetris-like. Possibly it was the first game I really created in BASIC, right? And after that, I remember something more useful. When I was studying at school, I think it was 8 years or 9 years of studying, we had a computer class at school.
Wait a second. Where you wrote the very first line? Which year was it, roughly?
Okay, I think I was about 12, right? Okay. So it was 85.
Oh, 85?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So this is amazing.
I'm quite old.
No, but what bothers me that you had the access to PC XT at that time. I would expect, C64 or something. That was very early PC, right? So it was one of the first, I would say.
I think PC actually has been there earlier, right? About 1983, something like that, if I remember well. Right?
Yeah, might be, but still, 2 years after that. So you had, still impressive.
Yeah, but I agree that my mother was working in some kind of their organization which used computers quite a lot, mainly for programming, and we've done some applications for big organizations, like what software companies are doing now, but at that time there was nothing like that. And we had some newer stuff there, and I guess it was one of I can't say it's one of the PC XTs brought to Soviet Union at that time, but I guess it was one of their first batch or something like that.
Okay, cool. And your mother was like, a true hacker? So like, how to call it. So she really enjoyed programming, or
No, true hacker for me sounds something different. For me, it
okay.
sounds like young guys who are hacking into your computer.
No.
To
True
steal
hacker for
some
me,
data.
for me, true hacker would sound like someone who really enjoys knowing how things are working, is excited about technology. This is what hacker means to me. So it's not like someone with bad behavior tries to break things. It's more like you are curious about things and try to see how they work. So this is what so was something like this. Your mother?
I guess so. She enjoyed programming. It was mainframes time, remember, right? So she was enjoying mainframes programming.
Yeah, but I had to work with. I enjoyed to work with a woman. She was not PL1, rather than RPG on the S400, and I did some Java programming, and she did the RPG programming, and she was really fan of the whole computer AS400. So she said, okay, this is the best operating system ever. She was like promoting the old mainframe. So I learned a lot from her. It was actually also interesting. So there are also people who are really excited about the mainframes because they are really interesting. So the old mainframe stuff.
No, the thing is that it was that time and it was nothing else than mainframes, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that my mother actually now promoting mainframes.
Yeah, sure.
Not doing anything with mainframes now, right?
Okay.
She's retired, right? So that time, yeah, she had fun programming, right? And she was actually leading a team of programmers.
Cool.
We've done some complicated stuff. Yeah.
She worked for a secret organization?
No,
because
no. It was nothing like KGB, because I wouldn't get access there. Never.
Okay, right? Okay. And does your mother understand Java? So.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, so you have to do something, no? For retirement, or so a small, Helidon course or something like this.
Yeah, I definitely have to.
Perfect. And your father is also a programmer?
No. My father is not a programmer.
Okay.
She's more in cars and things.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So now, let's clarify that. So you started with XT, which is amazing, and then in 85, and then, so what's also stunning, you started with Tetris. I mean, Tetris are crazy complicated. So you actually saw, the shapes on the screen, or was it like, so it actually worked, your Tetris?
Do you think that Tetris is bloody complicated, really?
Yeah, as a first game, yes. I think if you start, yeah.
I don't think that it's really too complicated. It's a text mode, right? So you have a text mode on your PC, and you have a character which is like a cube, right? Mm-hmm. Like a cursor, like and you just use characters to program the game. Maybe it was complicated that time. Now it's not really.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you were 12 years old and you hacked, Tetris. So for me, it's impressive. So it sounds impressive to me. So, okay. And what then? I interrupt you. So then you started with, you did something at school, you said.
Yeah, because you asked what kind of applications I created. That games is like kind of for fun, right?
Yeah.
And at school, I remember that we had a computer class. Actually, we had two. And that time it just started because we never had computer classes at school. And, we started to have computers. It was not XTs, it was some kind of, I actually don't know what is that. It was kind of a Russian home computers. They used their own operating system, and we have a server, and the server was RJ45, if I remember well. So what I was doing there, I was creating how to say that? It's basically testing applications, right?
Oh.
There, you add questions there, and there is one answer which you answer.
So multiple choice?
Correctly or incorrectly. Yeah, multiple choice. No, it's not multiple choice. It was one choice. Yeah.
One choice, okay.
Yeah. And at the end, you have a result. Right?
Okay.
So how you passed, what's the result of passing, and this kind of stuff. So our teachers, they liked it very much because they could say that we are using computers in our education process, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
So they asked me to basically add, they created questions and answers, and I added these questions and answers to the application I created, and I was testing kind of my schoolmates, and I think that it was the first business application I created.
Cool. And which programming language again? Which was it?
It was Basic.
Basic again, okay. And so you were the guru at school, right? With that.
Yeah. Having access to the computer class, I had a key from the computer class. It was just brilliant because you can go there anytime, play games, and, just enjoy.
Cool. And where was it? In Russia, you said?
Yes, Moscow.
Moscow. Okay, cool. As this was still, though, I would say 90s.
It was 80s, actually. It was 88, 89, because 90, I started my high school, right? So it was 89, I would say.
And there were Russian computers or they were imported?
Russian. This
Russian.
was Russian computers. Yeah.
Okay. And which processors? Intel or?
That time, I don't think that Russia, Soviet Union, used Intel processors, right? So, it was something Russian, and that something Russian was maybe copied from something else, right? I don't know what the processor was, to be fair. But these computers were kind of a home computers, similar to ZX Spectrum, but not exactly that.
What was the name of the computer?
Good question. If I remember well, it was BK001, something like that.
BK001, because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because this was a proper operating system on it? So, or you had, you had cassettes, I think.
There was some kind of operating system, definitely, yeah. But it was kind of made for these computers. It was not something available for like Linux, for instance, right? So it was something made for this model.
It's actually amazing that someone creates from scratch the whole thing. And the basic was like basic, or was it the Russian basic?
I very much doubt that it was created from scratch, but anyway, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. It was basic. It was normal basic. It was not Russian basic. There was some other languages. I don't remember what was the other. There was actually two languages. One was basic, which we used, and another one was, I can't say now. Don't remember.
Okay, cool. So, and what happened then? So, you really liked the programming, or were you already, how to call it, really into programming, or you just did it because of school?
No, I really liked it.
Cool.
So I liked it, and I enjoyed programming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't say that I did it only for school. For sure, it had some advantages for me knowing programming, because not many people did that, and I had some bonuses because of that. But the main reason was not that. I kind of liked it a lot.
Okay, what was the next language then? So this was like basic. What happened then? So you stick.
Oh, high school started, right? So
okay.
In high school, we used mainly Pascal.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. For school stuff, and for some side projects, we used Delphi or Delphi, right? Because it was one of their languages which allowed you to easily create a Windows-based UI, right, and access databases. It's actually quite cool, right? And in parallel, actually starting from sometimes maybe 80s, late 80s, I used, DBase 3?
Yes, DBase. Mm-hmm.
DBase, not Cubase, DBase.
DBase, yes.
Yeah. So I was using DBase 3 Plus, and there was a compiled version of that called Clipper.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
To create some kind of the database stuff for some customers, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, my mother again was using it, and sometimes she gave me some work to do for some small money, right? Pocket money. Mm-hmm. So I used Clipper and DBase Plus to do stuff.
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago, I think 5 to 7 years ago, I got a contract to help a company to move away from Clipper because it didn't work anymore on the recent Windows. I think it was Windows 7 back then or something. And they asked me to help them to migrate to Java because this was a crucial application for business. So and the application was created by a programmer who was promoted several times, but no one knew what it actually does anymore. So I know a Clipper a little bit.
Oh yeah, it could be quite complicated because of the database stuff. We used a little bit different approach to program databases, right?
Okay. Yeah, cool. So on Delphi was, I think, even object-oriented back then, right? So the two...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was from Borland.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And basically, the alternative to create some kind of business application with Windows UI was Visual Basic Free, if I remember well, right? Mm-hmm. But it's Visual Basic. No one actually likes Visual Basic, right?
Yeah.
And another alternative is C++. And creating business applications in C++ is kind of complicated, right? It takes some time.
Yeah.
Right. So Delphi was really great at that time, and I actually don't see any really alternatives to that.
Yeah.
At that time.
Even now, I attended some conferences in parallel. There was still a Delphi conference, and this was in Switzerland. They do a lot of stuff still. So it seems like to be still a vibrant community behind Delphi.
Is it actually supported? So I think Delphi was stopped some kind of 10 years ago.
Yeah, but they still keep going. So they're like, I don't know why they are just, I think Borland. I don't think they ship Delphi applications anymore. But yeah.
Yeah.
And what you did then? So this is actually amazing. So how old were you with Delphi and DBase experience?
No, you mean how long I was using it?
Yeah. How old were you? Roughly.
How old am I? I'm from 73.
Yeah, but back then. So how old were you if you hacked, the DBase and?
How old am I? Yeah, 20 years old, right?
20 years, okay.
20 plus, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool.
Actually, possibly a little bit more, right? 22 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this was after high school.
I think that when I was 20, Delphi was not there yet, right?
Okay.
So what time Delphi has actually appeared? I think it was something like 95, if I remember well. Maybe
95 for sure, because in 97 I started with Java, and back then I knew about Delphi before Java, so it has to be 96, 95, and before that, like you, I did Turbo Pascal. So we had a similar language experience. So I also started Basic in Turbo Pascal, and then I only knew about Delphi. So it's like object-oriented language. I never did it actually. But I know that it was available before Java, and Java was 1997.
But it was kind of derived from Turbo Pascal, is it? So, the same company. Borland Turbo Pascal was brilliant, really fast compilation, right?
Yeah.
And Delphi was kind of a Windows version of that with remember Turbo Vision?
Turbo Vision, no.
UI. No?
No.
Turbo Vision is a object-oriented framework to create UI.
Cool.
DOS-based UI, right?
Okay.
And I think Borland created similar stuff for Windows.
Cool.
And called it Delphi. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you did then? So you had DBase and Delphi, and you were roughly 20 years old. So you studied already?
20 years old. It was 93. So yes, I studied in the university. And we did a lot of stuff. Delphi was actually a little bit later, right?
So what you did? So in the high school you did Delphi and Turbo Pascal, and then you started to study what?
Okay. You want to skip the high school stuff, right? Okay. So it was quite a lot of Delphi programming. So I was participated in. I started basically working, right? So I finished the university, high school, and I started working. And I was working for a company which created online trading stuff,
Okay.
And we used Delphi for actually trading system. We created a trading system to trading house.
Cool.
And we used Microsoft Access. It's still there, right? Microsoft Access to create the back office stuff because, people who use back office, we wanted to use Microsoft Office things, and Microsoft Access is nicely integrated to that. So we used Access to do the back office thing around the trading. It was quite a big project, so I participated there. It was for about 2-3 years, I guess, like late 90s, right? And at some point, I moved to Czech Republic because company I was working on moved to Czech Republic, and they gave us nice offers. So I decided that so I'll move to Czech Republic for a couple of years.
One question. In high school and study and your university time, you just focus on Delphi, right? So you were or did also some other languages?
No. As I was saying, Delphi was kind of a little bit after university, like late years of university, and after that, we actually didn't study it in the university, right? In the university, we studied Pascal quite a lot.
Okay.
And we studied C, C++, and basically, I've done a lot of C and C++ programming for the university projects.
Oh, okay. In C and C++, interesting. And what you did then? So which applications you wrote?
To be fair, I don't, for the university. All right. It was aviation university, right?
Wow.
So everything were around aircraft.
Cool.
And what we tried to create a simulator, right? Like F-19. Remember F-19?
Yes.
So we tried to create something like that.
Cool.
Actually, was quite successful. We had a plane, which was you can simulate the plane by solving on every single moment of time a set of differential equations, right? I don't remember. I think it was 11 of them or 9 of them, right? So we actually done that. Because of that, it was a little bit slow, but it was kind of nicely simulated. We had a little bit of problems with graphics. So I remember we created a library with assembler code to draw graphic primitives, like draw lines, draw squares, and this kind of stuff, just to make it faster. And this stuff was in C.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah, that's that. It was quite cool. It was fun to do.
Cool. So you studied aviation, not computer science?
The university was aviation university, but I was studying actually mathematics.
Wow. So you are dangerous.
So no, I don't remember anything. My specialty is applied mathematics.
Cool. That's incredible. So, and after the university, you did Delphi, and you were not bored with Delphi, with your background, with
No.
C++ and graphics, and okay.
I still miss C. I really like C programming, and I used it for some home projects, pet projects, but not in the real work. To be fair, I never used C, C++ in real work.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So cool. So then after university, you did Delphi, and then you did some stock exchange or trading apps, and then you moved to Czech Republic. And you like Czech Republic comparing to Russia back then? So if you moved, from Russia to Czech Republic, was it a nice experience or not that nice for you?
It's comparable, I would say.
Okay.
Right. So it has some pluses, it has some minuses, right? So I can't really say that it's definitely better than Moscow. It's not. The thing is that time it was 98, 99. You remember it was a crisis, right? And it was kind of because of crisis, not a lot of job offers in Moscow and this kind of stuff. So I was actually happy to find something. And after that, this company was moved to Czech Republic, possibly partially because of the crisis. So basically, I accepted the offer because of the interest. Because it's quite interesting to go abroad and to live abroad for some years, right? Yeah. And the second thing, I just didn't want to lose a job, right? So, so I can't say that Czech Republic is brilliant and Russia is bad.
No.
I think both of them are kind of have pluses and minuses. I still enjoy and go to Moscow to see my parents.
Yeah, sure.
Now it's beautiful city. It looks much better than it was in the 90s. So enjoying it.
And do you speak in Czech?
Yes, I do.
Cool.
Mluvím česky.
Česky, okay. Because I was in Prague and I learned, the Krytek. This is like the small. It was at the airport. It's like the creature, the Czech creature. It's called Krytek, and so you know this. This is like the black small thing, the Mauer.
It's mole.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Krytek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually I've been at your talk when you was talking about that
The
on
Krytek,
Geekon conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was quite fun. Everybody enjoyed that.
Okay. So perfect. So then you did some trading stuff, and Czech Republic. What happened then?
In Czech Republic, we was not doing trading stuff. In Czech Republic, we was doing some kind of automation systems for the resort. So the owner of the company owned a resort, and we did some automation for the resort. It means that some kind of computer systems, like a reservation system, like some accounting system, back office system, and this kind of stuff. And at that time, it was actually we used Microsoft technologies. Mm-hmm. We used ASP.NET, we used C#, we used Microsoft's SQL database. Mm-hmm. Because it was historically like that, so that company used Microsoft stuff.
Sure. What's interesting, you said that in 1999 there was a crisis, but what I remember, 1999 it was the new economy boom, and 2001 everything went south. So in Russia was the crisis 2 years earlier?
Yeah, I think it was 98 actually.
Okay,
it was
interesting.
a crisis in Russia, and basically the currency rates. I think ruble has actually went down, right? Quite a lot.
Okay.
It was a default or something like that. I'm not really in economics.
Okay.
But it was quite big, I would say.
But in Czech Republic, everything was fine, right? It was like over the top, I would say, with the new economy stuff, right?
I don't think that actually that crisis affected Czech Republic.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I think, because I remember Germany was at golden times, like 1997 until 1999, and then 2001 with the 9/11. I think it was 2001. This is where it became a little bit complicated.
Yeah. So we had it in different times. We had it earlier.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, now I understood it. Okay,
it's not perfect. It's bad.
No, it's bad, anyway. but perfect because I got it. So I got it right now. Okay. Okay, so you wrote some systems with C#, and you switched to other company, or what happened then?
After that, no, it was the same company. So we created some resort systems, and we actually worked in different directions. And we tried to, at least it was like a POC stuff, to create a casino application. So it was quite fun to work on, the casino stuff.
Okay.
It was never released, right? So it was stopped at the POC level. But it was quite fun to do. And it was actually the first big Java project I created.
And why
right?
Java and not C#?
It's actually a good question, right? We decided to go Java EE actually that time because of data scalability, better performance, and mainly it was working on Linux, right?
Hey, cool.
So for Microsoft, actually it's required to use Microsoft service, which we actually didn't want to do.
Why not?
And
you remember this because it's interesting. Your background is more like Delphi and Windows, and now you
you need to pay for Microsoft licenses, right? It's quite expensive, right? So,
okay.
The company decided to save and go basically the cheaper open source way.
So I think
which is reasonable.
I suspect you are not.
Companies did the same thing.
You are not happy, I suspect, right? So if someone pushes you to use Linux and Java EE, and before then you had Windows and Delphi, it is like a complete different world.
No, I was actually happy.
Oh, really?
I was actually quite fine. Yeah, because Java is great, and I've started looking at Java since Java appeared. right?
Okay.
But Java 1.0 was not usable much, right?
Yeah.
And I tried to create some games in Java again, right? That's all what I always do, creating games.
Cool.
So I had some Java experience at least. And I was tracking Java, how it goes, Java Enterprise Edition and this kind of stuff. So at that point, actually, when we had a choice what to use, I was quite happy that this project is going to be a Java project and we can actually use Java and we can actually get some more experience with Java, get some more expertise in Java. So very happy.
So now I'm curious.
I like to study new things.
Yeah. What games you wrote with Java?
So again, some small stuff. Applets, right?
Yeah.
Java supports
Yeah.
applets.
Yeah.
So I created some applets for Tetris, for Snake, and these kind of things.
Perfect. Right? Okay. And the J2E server, you remember which server was it? JBoss?
It was WebLogic. It was WebLogic, and it was, I think, version 7, if I remember.
Very good.
Or maybe 6.
I really like WebLogic 7 and 8, and I started, I think it was 5 or Tenga before, and I really liked...
Still small.
Yeah, WebLogic was great. There was one jar, WebLogic.jar and WebLogic client, and this is and it booted in no time. Nice admin console, and then it was the versions after that became larger and larger. This was unfortunate. By the way, exactly the same happened with Bolland. The Bolland JBuilder, I think 3 was great, and after then they added all the enterprise wizards or whatever, and everything was more bloated.
Yeah, and it didn't work nice, to be fair.
Yeah. And and what was your experience with WebLogic? So you liked the experience, and which IDE you used, if you remember back then?
Coming to JDeveloper, not from Borland.
JDeveloper from yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, you just mentioned that it was JDeveloper. I don't know. I'm not really good.
JBuilder. Sorry, JBuilder was the name.
JBuilder.
JBuilder. Yes. Exactly.
We were using that.
JBuilder was great. JBuilder was, I really liked that. So I had the JBuilder. There were 3 editions, Standard, Professional, and Enterprise. And I always used the Professional, was good enough. And the Enterprise had some crazy data binding stuff, which I never used. And yeah, JBuilder was nice. Mm-hmm.
I think we had Enterprise, right? And
yeah.
Because I remember I was playing with this crazy database stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird. So at the end, we didn't use that database funny stuff, right? We just used JBuilder as an IDE for creating projects.
Yeah. What I really liked were the boxes of JBuilder. Those like huge boxes with IDE box, and there was like some construction stuff on it, so it was nice design. So I was like, okay, really appreciated the look and feel of the whole JBuilder products. Okay, so I did the first J2E app, and you liked your experience hacking the app, or was it like, because back then it was J2E 1.4, I suspect. So you liked the experience or didn't? So what was your impression about the whole J2E stuff?
J2E stuff was great, right? That time it was, first version of AGBs, like BMPs and CMPs, if you remember, right?
Yes.
Actually, it was BMPs only, if I remember well, when this started. Mm-hmm. And CMPs were added later, right? So with BMPs and CMPs, you kind of... it makes sense, right? But the logic behind is too complicated. This is what I think, right?
Yeah.
Especially comparing to .NET stuff. .NET stuff is much easier.
Yeah.
By the way, link for SQL was not exist at that time, so we couldn't take advantage of that. But anyway, we started with BMPs. Fine. After that, CMPs appeared, so we started to use CMPs. It's much better, right? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we didn't come to proper JPA because the project was closed, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right? Because I think actually this is a proper way to do database bindings. But I used that in other projects.
Cool. So the CMP stands for Container Managed Persistence and BMP for Bin Managed Persistence. And CMP, you had a deployment descriptor, which basically said, which fields are persistent. And BMP, you had to do everything by yourself. So there were methods like EGB load, EGB store, and finder methods. It was you had to write a little bit code, but it actually worked.
It's It's more control, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Find by primary key and this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It should be
variety of find methods.
Yeah, finders. Yeah, exactly. The main problem with that back then, I remember, CMP were not serializable. So you had to use data transfer objects. So you had, to copy the whole state of the BMP bean into a serializable object. This was one-to-one mapping. And the problem is, I still see projects doing that without a reason. They have a JPA entity and they create exactly the same data transfer object and copy everything back and forth. And they think this kind of best practice. So this is from back then, from these days. Cool. So what is your next project? So this sounds interesting, like Casino with WebLogic and J2E. So what was your next project, or one of the interesting projects, or what you did then?
I think after that, I started the outsourcing time. So I was a self-employed person, worked for different companies like consulting, and participated in many different projects. So I was working for insurance companies, I was working for banks, right? And it was Java only. I didn't use Microsoft since the resort applications, right? Mm-hmm. So everything was Java EE based. So it was WebLogic, it was WebSphere. We had a project on JBoss as well. And most of the projects are very similar. So there is this kind of UI. It's UI on Vict or VI is on Faces. And there is a backend using Oracle database. Or I think it was always Oracle database.
Mostly back then. So on host there were DB2 usually on host, and everything else was Oracle mostly.
Yeah, and the service bus, and on the backend side it was Java EE or Spring. I actually used quite a lot of Spring, and I still think that it's quite cool.
Yeah, and you are self-employed, interesting, and then you are working for Oracle right now. So what was the transition from self-employed hacker to a business consultant?
Basically, self-employment is great, but it adds a little bit of instability, right?
Yeah.
I liked it very much because of different projects, because of nice experience, because, it boosts your expertise quite a lot, mm-hmm. right? But on the other hand, that instability was bothering me a lot because I have a family, right? Mm-hmm. And I live in a foreign country. So I need to have some stability. I'm getting older, right? Yeah. I need to have some stability. So I decided that I find normal employment, mm-hmm. right? And some of folks I was working with in the bank, we moved to Oracle, and basically I asked them, are there any open positions there? And they said, yeah, there are some open positions. So I applied, and I was employed.
Good. Oh, cool. So you were self-employed freelancer, and then you started at Oracle.
Yes, correct.
So, and was it a shock for you at the first time, or you enjoyed the experience, or from self-employed freelancer to an employee of a large company? So you had to be custom, to the different world, or what happened to you?
Question to question. Have you ever worked in a big enterprise company, or you was always self-employed?
I was always freelancer, and for me, large companies are always funny. So this is where I observe everything, how it works. For me, is always fun, because I can observe it from outside, If I would work for a company, then it would be completely different. This is what I'm asking, because for me, if I think about this, it could be not that easy.
Yeah, it's different. But I can't say it's different in a negative way. It's just different, right? Yeah. Because when you're self-employed, you always track your time, right? Yeah. You work for customer. You need to be always on time. You need to track your hours because you get paid for your hours, right? Yeah. So when I came to the company, okay, it's kind of relaxing there, right? Mm-hmm. So folks are coming to the office a little bit later. They are doing their stuff. They have home office things, right? Mm-hmm. I never had home office when I was self-employed, right? Mm-hmm. So work is kind of slow, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of communication with abroad. there are some kind of video conferences. There are some kind of big meetings, like all hands, like management meetings and these kind of things. So it was quite new because when I was self-employed, it was pure development, fast, release, great, okay?
Yeah.
So it's a bit different. Is it good? It was quite surprising to me at the first time, but after that, it became kind of normal.
Yeah.
And now I think that it's actually fine, right? Because we have a set of projects, like my team, right? We are working on for years, right? And folks are they have great expertise in these projects. We rarely have new projects coming, right? So we have great expertise with what we are doing. And we don't have, we are not rushing on releases. We better do things better, right? So I would say that the code written in Oracle has much better quality than the code people are doing, in the business applications.
Yeah, this I believe for sure. I had back then. So you never worked for Sun, so you work for Oracle, so you're proper Oracle.
Correct. I was never working for Sun.
Yeah. I think back then, wait a second. So Toplink, Eclipse Toplink was, I think, backed by Oracle, not by Sun. So I had, I think there were Oracle guys contributing to Toplink, right? Even if it was the... At Glassfish time, Sun was around. I think Oracle guys still contributed to Toplink, not Sun guys. This is true, right?
Oh.
I don't think there were Sun guys. I think there were Oracle guys. The guys are doing, never mind. But I was also surprised, how I contributed a little code to Toplink back then, or Eclipse Link. And I was really stunned by the quality and thoughts going, into the whole process. So you are absolutely right. So what you became? You became the master of meetings over time, right?
Talking about Toplink. Actually, Toplink is very old. It was created
it's a
in
small
the 90s using Smalltalk.
Yeah.
Afterwards converted to Java.
Yes.
And was moved from one company to another.
WebGain.
I remember one company called
WebGain was like WebLogic, then was bought by Oracle, and then open sourced, I think. And this is why the guys still contributed Eclipse Link. They were the three gurus. I forgot the names. And I think they were Oracle guys. But never mind. It was still... you're right. So it goes slower. But I mean, the stakes are higher, right? So you have to... backward compatibility, lots of clients, so there's a completely different world. Mm-hmm.
You need to think about many different things, yeah.
What you did at Oracle back then? So what is your first assignment? So it was Java?
Yeah, so it was only Java since, ages. So
cool.
As I said, I stopped doing Microsoft. And especially my first assignment was Toplink, Eclipse Link. So I was fixing bugs in Eclipse Link. And I created a second version of, there was like additional functionality in Eclipse Link called GPARS, right? Mm-hmm. And this is kind of automatic generation of RESTful web services.
You did it?
On your JPA bin. I created the second version. So the first version was there, and I created the second one, which is it had some additional functionality.
Because this was cool. So what JPRS was is you could basically activate JPRS, and I think it was servlet. It exposed a kind of truly RESTful endpoints where you can manipulate the entity directly. So you could follow the relations. You could query the entities, update the entities. So I presented to my client several times, and in one project we actually used that. So great work. I saw it at Java 1. Cool. So, once.
It's great that I know that it's the first customer who's using that. At least you mentioned that. It was quite a cool stuff, but I think this is kind of maybe not promoted a lot, but from the information, at least what I have, it's not used by many customers, really. So customers prefer just using normal JAX-RS. And GPARS, they're using to quick access to entities.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just doesn't work smoothly because entities format is not the same as they want to have. So it's easier for them to create another surface, another layer. Basically, this stuff he was working before, they converting entities to some kind of DTOs, and they export these DTOs as RESTful stuff,
Yeah.
So,
are you aware of actually of OData standard? Open Data Protocol?
what do you mean?
OData. This is like OData.
No, I don't know what is it.
So this is like a standard from Microsoft and SAP, and what they do, Microsoft started with it, and the idea was to expose a database in a RESTful way, and you get a proper REST interface. It is Oasis standard, so the V4 version is Oasis standard. And what I thought about is, to create a MicroProfile project, just to annotate entities and expose them via OData. It would be very, very similar to your JPA-RS, but with standardized interfaces. And the cool story is, if you have that, there are, for instance, SAP controls, which have built-in data binding to this OData standard. But, the whole CRUD interface, the CRUD REST interface is standardized. So with pagination, queries, metadata, and this is what... some projects are lacking, because if you have let's say more trivial applications, you have to reinvent CRUD over and over again, and with the OData it is already there. So I think it could be interesting to reactivate JPRS and just map it to more standard OData protocol. This would be great.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good. Definitely makes sense.
So you did that cool stuff at Oracle actually. So you started with JPRS, and then what you did then? So I'm now curious.
And after that, I was promoted.
Oh,
I was promoted as a manager, right? So
that's bad news, actually. This is and you enjoyed the promotion.
Yes, I enjoyed the promotion.
Okay, are you still allowed to code, or you just have to manage now?
I think most of the managers in Oracle came from developers.
Yeah.
So they are technically good.
Okay.
So we understand stuff which is going on, and I think it's great, because working with managers who don't understand technical stuff and pushing you on the deadlines they have, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So I do some programming, not as much as I want to have it.
Okay.
But I still do something, right?
Yeah.
I'm reviewing some pull requests mainly. I'm participating in Jakarta stuff, which requires some programming too. So I'm leading a couple of projects, right, which requires a little bit of work on, at least reading the code and making some suggestions, this kind of stuff. But you are right. So I'm doing much less coding than I have done in the past.
And you don't miss coding? So you really enjoy Really?
I do miss. This is why I'm still trying to code a little bit.
Okay. Then
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you get promoted, and what was your area? So after Eclipse Link and JPRS, so what you did? So which area? So you already mentioned a couple of things, but the JPRS was around 2008, I guess, right?
No, it was later.
Really?
GPA, the original version maybe, but what I was doing, it was like 2014.
Okay.
Right, mainly the second version, right? But what I was doing when I was promoted, JSON-B, right?
Oh.
So we started to work on, at least we had some resources, we started to do JSON-B. So I was working on JSON-B.
So, and how it started? Was it your idea, or why you started with JSON-B? So, how such project starts?
It was not my idea. The idea was there already for some time, and we were planned to do JSON-B, but we never had time, we never had resources to start with, right?
Yeah.
So, and at that time I was promoted. I don't think that it's really my fault that we started doing that, but it's kind of happened at the same time that we were allowed to start with JSON-B.
Okay.
I was driving that, was working with external people too, and we've done with JSON-B spec, and we've done with YASON, which is reference implementation.
Yes.
It was quite fun.
Yes, it was. But what interests me, because Oracle is a large company, so it's such an idea as JSON-B. how does actually start? So this is probably your chef or chef. They have to approve the whole thing. But JSON-B, I mean, there should be a demand from someone, right? So how it starts a JSON-B project, let's say, in a large company?
Actually, it's JCP based, right? It's
Yeah.
like an open initiative,
Yeah.
right? So I don't really think that it's only Oracle who was involved there, right? So
No.
there was a demand on JSON-B because we had JSON-P already, which is
Yes.
processing, right?
Yes.
Parser, basically. And the JSON-B was really missing stuff for enterprise Java to do binding, right? And everybody knew about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And,
This is what I also remember. This was actually in Java 8. JSON-B was really important to have it, so the demand was great. And now I understand. So how this work, of course, is Java 8 and JSON-B was proposed, and then Oracle is one of the contributors, and you got resources to implement the RI, right? Reference implementation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually quite a lot of work. So we've done reference implementation. It's a part of that. And another big part is TCKs, right?
Yeah.
So it's usually underestimated how complicated it is to do TCKs, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that the complexity is at least comparable with a reference implementation. Or implementation. Cool. Okay.
Okay. And how big was the JSON team back then? Remember that?
We have one team, right, which is responsible for Eclipse Link, for Metro, some other stuff. That time we took some WebLogic work, and the team was around 7 people, right? And in JSON, there was one guy full time, right? And sometimes others helped him with TCKs, with some stuff, right? So I would say it was like 2, possibly 2.5 people, sometimes 1.5, right?
This is
myself.
Amazes me over and over again how much you can achieve with a small team, right? So it's like 2 people and you can create the whole JSON binding, actually.
Yes, and you don't really need a big team to do that, right? And to be fair, it's kind of a small project, right?
Yeah,
so
but
JSON is not huge.
But I took a look at the code. It is, this is not huge, but it's complicated. It's not easy. So you have to think a lot, and I think lots of corner cases, so you shouldn't underestimate the effort to implement such a thing. And
there was communication with others, with the community. Basically, we didn't do it ourselves. There were some people from like Roman. He was in Tommy Tribe, I think, that time. There were other folks. They were guys from JSON, they were guys from Gensen. We were communicating on the expert group mailing list. They suggested features, I suggested features. Basically, it was quite a nice communication. So I think collaboration was great. And it's not right to say that JSON-B is created by Oracle, right? So it was created by a community, by the expert group from the community.
Yeah, sure. I just talk about the JSON reference implementation. So who contributed the most, or how big was the team? So this is what's always interesting.
Yeah, JSON. That time it was Oracle only.
Yeah.
But now we have contributions on JSON, which is great, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, and so I saw I started to play with JSON-B, and my expectation was like it will behave like JAX-B, but with no standardized annotations. And it didn't behave at all the same, because JAX-B worked with private fields and JSON-B worked with public fields first. And then I first pinged, I think, the project. This was first time we met, I guess, because I say, hey, we need, just make the private visibility field as default, so it will behave like JAX-B. And we had some conversations, and what I think, meanwhile, is I was wrong, actually. So it was a good thing to this what happened, because what I do more and more in Java 8 project, I have a class with public fields, and this, for me, a class with public fields is a DTO. I say, okay, this is obvious, this is DTO, it's not even attempting to make the fields private. And this is like a new emerging pattern. So if I see a class with public fields, okay, this is just a JSON-B class, which is actually better than having the default private fields, because then I will have to write constructors and getters and setters. So feedback, it was actually a very good choice back then.
Okay, finally, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
But what I would say, JSON B is customizable, right?
yeah,
And you can create your own visibility strategy. I think we've done it actually
yeah,
in Yason.
yeah.
That private fields are visible for serializer and deserializer and behaves similar to JPA, for instance, or JAX-B. It's possible to do it. It's just not default,
Yeah,
right?
I also did it. I found, I think, a small problem, and then I filed a pull request or something, and I think you approved that. So this was the final story of that. This is how we made this second time.
Good, I said I approved it, because if I was not, then you would say, hey, you are not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's assume you approved that, because yeah. Okay, and yeah, you're right. It is customizable, but what I appreciate the most in Java EE is the convention of a configuration. So without any customization, it already looks simple and is productive. And with the JSON-B, you could always customize that. But if I would start with customization, and developers who look at my code, they wouldn't understand why it behaves that way. So therefore, I try to know in JSON-B to change the defaults, which is no more necessary. I think the defaults right now are great, because public fields is what I said is perfect, because it makes obvious that this is a data transfer object. And the customizations are great. So you can customize dates, for instance. So it's really important for JavaScript interactions. So great work, and I really appreciate JSON-B is. And by the way, if I show it at conferences, people are still amazed that it works out of the box how it works. So great work back then. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, and what happened then? So JSON-B or Yason is almost done, I would say. There's probably some maintenance going on. But what you did after this?
Not really maintenance. Actually, there are huge plans for JSON-B 2.0.
Oh.
We presented it on Jakarta One live stream. Mm-hmm. So JSON-B 2.0 will be there. It will include a lot of cool stuff, and some of the stuff, like most of the stuff, was suggested by the community, which we're trying to address. Right, like polymorphism, like additional configuration, not only annotation-based, but runtime-based. So quite a lot of stuff, and it's going to be cool, right?
Yeah, and
so
if the audience is interested, there is it was recorded, a Jakarta One live stream, and
yes.
it's available for viewing. It's jakarta1.org is the URI, exactly.
Yeah, I share the slides in Twitter as well, so if users want to check, just check my Twitter. It's M0ABUS, right?
Yeah.
Slides are sometimes there, some there.
Perfect. Right? So, yeah, Yason 2.0, but what else? You're doing also other projects, right?
Oh, yeah. So, Helidon, right? Helidon is like great stuff. What we were doing for some years, and finally we managed to open source it, managed to make it public, and managed to make it as one of the bricks of the Oracle strategy.
Yeah,
which is, I think, great.
Now the question: so you did the JPRS and Yason. You did the Helidon in parallel. You started Helidon, or what was the idea, or what is the story behind Helidon?
Helidon was not started by me.
Okay.
Right. So there was another product team, and they started to think about some kind of a microservices framework some time ago. And Helidon was not the name of that. I think the name of that was Airport, right? Like internal names, right?
Yeah.
And they was working at it for some time, and it was renamed to Prime, if I remember well. And it was like a parent of Helidon.
Okay.
We added some stuff there, we changed some stuff there, and this project became J4C. We called it J4C, and I think it was 2017. It was kind of ready to release, but we couldn't release it that time, right? And at some point, when I came to the stage, we added MicroProfile support there. Mm-hmm. We removed some unused stuff there, and it took us some time to went through all the approval process to open source it and to make it public.
Okay. You know when the project started, Project Airport, roughly? So which year?
Oh, I don't remember. Possibly 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 15, something roughly.
Okay. And the idea was like, next gen server side programming or something like this, probably, right? Or cloud.
Basically, the idea was to, yes, it's targeted to the cloud, targeted to microservices, mainly to have something similar to Spring Boot.
Okay.
We all look at Spring Boot because we were first one creating this kind of great stuff, you know. So the goal is to take a look, make like a improved version of Spring Boot.
Okay. Interesting. And you added MicroProfile, which I would say is the best idea ever, because with MicroProfile you get quasi Java E programming model for free, and you are runtime independent. This is what I like the most with MicroProfile.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. No.
Carry on.
So and
I just wanted.
You started with you took over. You started. What is actually your role in Helidon? Is this like you are the Helidon project manager, or what happened? So what was your role there, or how you switched to Helidon?
I'm managing Helidon, yeah, and I'm managing a prac team. We have two teams, Helidon. We have a US team, we have a prac team. I'm a prac team manager, and I'm managing the whole project.
Whoa, not bad. And you switch from Yason product manager to Helidon?
I'm still doing Yason too.
Okay, so so you told me 2017, and why you did it? So I mean. So you're doing happily, JSON B and Yason, and then you saw as an opportunity to something more interesting, and you say, okay, I would go to the Project Airport. So what was the story?
Basically, the story is that for some reasons, we lost resources which were working on what became Helidon, right? And this project actually ended up at my team. And this project had a really great potential, right? I didn't want just to, move it into the trash bin, right? So I started to communicate with management that we have something which may be interesting, right? And thanks for our management that they understood their potential, advantages of the Helidon project, and they agreed that to invest there a little bit. So we started actually to add the MicroProfile stuff on top of just the reactive stuff we had. We basically made it to the release, mainly because, in the microservices world, now what we have, Oracle actually didn't have anything addressing microservices, right?
Yeah.
So there is a cloud platform, which is great, but from the development perspective, okay, what do we have? We have Java EE, which is becoming Jakarta, and it's that time a really transitional stage. We were not sure about the future of everything, right? So would it be successful? Moving to Eclipse, would it be not successful? That time really didn't know. We just were working hard to make it happen, right? But what else do we have? We don't have anything, right? And Helidon actually covers the microservices development. So we have customers who are working on WebLogic. If we want to switch to microservices, what Oracle offers? Okay, we offers Helidon now, but at that time, oh, sorry, we can't really offer anything. So customers are going to other frameworks.
Okay. This is this sounds reasonable. This is okay. So, and if you started with the Helidon, was the name already given Helidon, or was your idea, for the name?
Actually, it was my idea.
Cool.
Basically we asked everybody participating in the project how we name it, right? And we were quite a few options, right? And we was voting at the end, so we were voting on the names, and that Helidon name won, which is great. So I'm quite proud of it.
What were the other alternatives? You remember?
No, I don't remember now. To be fair, there was some funny stuff.
Okay, but
But
and
well,
the project name was Airport, and then Prime, and then the first name, which official was
J, there was J4C, right?
J4C,
J4C
Java
project.
for containers,
Yeah,
I guess, right?
Java for cloud.
For cloud, okay. And then
Yeah.
Helidon. So, and why Helidon? Why you like the name?
All right. So we tried to find something which is kind of lightweight and fast because Helidon is small and fast, right? So there was association with birds. So we were looking at birds, right? So yeah, and they were alternative names based on birds too, right? So Helidon, Helidoni actually. It's swallow in Greek, right? So actually, the way we went, we tried to find some birds' name in different languages, right? Which sounds nice, right? And Helidon is a swallow, which is great, right? Greek, cool, right? And the name is kind of, I like how it sounds. Helidon, Helidon. Kind of
Yeah,
cool
I also
to me.
like how it sounds. This is why I heard, it was back then, I think still Java one, like a Helidon project, and it really sounds nice. So I was, it draw immediately attention to me. It's like, Helidon, what is it? Sounds nice. So it's a really nice sounding name. So this was curious how it started.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and what I also liked, which was amazing, because the website, so the Helidon web site looks amazing. So who did the page? Like, I mean, it's really nice, and the whole tutorial is well structured. So this is the whole Helidon experience is outstanding. So it looks more like a small startup created something fresh. So for me, and who did the website? So there was like the people at Oracle, or is it an external company?
It was people from Oracle, but not from our team. We originally wanted to create some kind of a nice looking website because if you remember, if you know that Oracle products or projects we are working on, like Yason, for instance, or specification stuff we're doing, they don't have really nice looking websites, right?
No.
But we wanted to create a microservices frameworks which looks like which website looks like other websites on the market, right? At least comparable with that. For instance, Spring website is great, right? So actually, one of our American folks, he found web designers in Oracle, which is almost impossible, right? And that folks communicated with them. And we agreed to create basically graphics for us. And we used these graphics to create the website. I think it was an amazing effort because in a company like Oracle, it's quite difficult to find web designers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know, we are doing development, we are not doing web design, right? And we were actually lucky that these folks agreed to help us and that this work's been finished.
Yeah, the website looks amazing.
That's the story.
Amazing. This is helidon.io, and there's like parallax scrolling. And if you, so I saw the website, I saw the name, and I say, what the hell is going on at Oracle? I mean, what happens now? I mean, why? And I just look at this. Everything looks interesting. So for me, it was like I couldn't get, why such a project and why. I mean, this was like alienish for a large company to do something like this, but really nice. And what's also interesting, and I think even unique, Helidon comes with two, how to call it, profiles or flavors. One is Java SE, which I also like. It's completely based on Java SE. And the other one is the MicroProfile flavor, right? So you can do either MicroProfile stuff or just Java SE.
Exactly. And it really depends on what you like more, right? Because MicroProfile, first of all, it's MicroProfile. Yeah. It's kind of de facto standard for cloud native Java applications. And we really like these APIs and we support it. It's one of our main goals to support MicroProfile, right?
Yeah.
So if you are Java EE developer, it's easy to switch to MicroProfile, right? So
yeah, it looks like exactly like Java EE. So exactly.
Yep. On the other hand, we have lots of people who are bored with Java EE or bored or don't like it because of the magic behind, right? Because of that kind of declarative style of programming. So we have SE, which is, to be fair, I like more. It's like a more fun to use it. It's a pure Java application. It's reactive. You have all the control on what you're doing. It's inspired. It is a web server component. It's inspired from Express.js, JavaScript stuff, which is actually quite cool, right? So I've heard something on Twitter that people were saying it's a similar approach Go uses for creating web services, but I can't give my arm for that because it's kind of Go. I'm not a Go programmer. I'm just passing what I've heard, right? And it's fun to use it. Helidon SE is really fun to use.
Yeah.
So
and how it looks like the SE, I'm just on the page. So the SE would looks like web server.create routing builder, so we can set up the route and you say, okay, the route is greet, and then you have request and respond, and you get a response back, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code, and you have your own web server, or you can have one longer line in one web server. This is actually one line split to 5 lines, so this is exactly. And you can achieve exactly the same with JAX-RS to 0. And then you say package, and you get a fed jar, and you can launch the jar.
Yeah, it's like oversimplified, but it's correct.
Yeah.
If you want to take a full sample, we have quite nice quick start guides, right?
Yeah.
If you go to on the website, click documentation on the top menu, and on the screen which appears, the first big button is guides, right? You click on the guides, and we have quite a few of the guides now, and on the top page we have Quick Start SE and Quick Start MP guides, right? So if you want to use SE, just click SE, and we have quite nice Maven archetype, which will create a sample application for you, and you can open it in every IDE you like, because we don't have anything special. So it works with Eclipse, it works with IntelliJ, it works with everything else, NetBeans, and you can take a look at the code. There is quite a very simple RESTful web service, right? With health check support out of the box, with metrics support out of the box, with tracing support out of the box, which is observability, important for web services. You just package it, Maven package, and that's executable jar. You run it, you can test it using curl. So it's very small, it's very nice, and it can be used as a template for your bigger application. So if you want a start point, go to Quick Start, run it, you have a template, add your stuff there, your application's done.
Okay, so this is Quick Start MP and Quick Start SE. This is the both quick starts, and it states application in under 5 minutes, which is kind of true. I think I managed to do it in 45 seconds. So if you have the quick starter, you just download, run Maven package, Maven jar, Java-jar, and it starts. So it's really quick. So it works out of the box. And one question. This is a fed jar. Is it a possibility to have a hollow jar where you can separate, the Helidon core from my business logic?
It's not a fed jar. It's a hollow jar.
Ah, perfect. So this is, because I never got the fed jar. So I asked so many people why fed jars matter, and no one could tell me. Because for me...
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, very good. Because for me, it doesn't make any sense, to create a fed jar when, 4K or 6K of my code changes. I have to create 20 megs over and over again. But if it's hollow jar out of the box, perfect.
Exactly. We have a lib folder where all dependencies are there, right?
Great.
So you actually can create a layered Docker image clever way, right? That you have a Docker image with all your dependencies, and the next layer is just your application. So it will give you an advantage of really fast creating of the Docker image, right?
Yeah, this is what I'm asking. Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's also great, there is the guides page. This is like on the left side, there are lots of, looks like hamburger menus. So you have MicroProfile extensions and tracing, and lots of guides which are really well documented. So also kudos to that. So I would say it looks great. I would say, take as a compliment. It doesn't look as Oracle at all. It was created by Oracle. It's really like a small startup created, something like on Node.js or Go-like. So nice.
Thank you very much. We're still working on the guides, trying to add more of the guides, because we know that developers, especially new developers, they need it, right? So this is not the end. We are working on some new guides now, and we will add them in the future.
Yeah. And I will also play a little bit with Helidon now, because of the hollow jar. I was not that interested because my impression was it produces fat jars, and I said, okay, this is pointless. But you made me curious with the hollow jar, so I will play around with it and probably record some videos if it works. And interesting. Sure. What I can tell. I mean, this is a amazing project. And a completely different question. The JSON logo, was it your idea? Or JSON binding logo, sorry.
I think it was my idea.
Yeah, I suspected this already. I saw it at Java 1. It's like, why it looks like that? And I said, okay, JSON. I said, okay, JSON, if you add an A to the JSON, it could be JSON like the name, and then binding, it's like, oh, the Duke is the JSON and it is bound. And I said, okay, this this is great. So for the listeners, they should take a look at the JSON binding logo, and then it is like interesting.
It's on there. Okay. Let's keep a hook, right? So we won't tell what's on the logo, right? So listeners can actually go to the older Java EE website, and this logo is there. We are not allowed to use Duke-based logos for Jakarta, so this logo was not moved to Jakarta.
Yeah, but you could do something with the sailing stuff,
Yeah, need to find a graphics designer to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was community contribution actually. So we were working with some graphics designer, who contributed it to us. This is why it's looking very nice, because my graphics skills are quite poor.
Oh, cool. So, what's the plans for? Do you have any plans for Helidon next? Are they secret, or what's your thinking? So, what you would like to achieve, or what's your next?
No secrets. We are trying to be maximum open, right?
Yeah.
So we've done MicroProfile 3.0, right? So this is the latest 3.1, right? Mm-hmm. So as I said, our main goal is MicroProfile, so we'll add MicroProfile 3.1, and wherever else MicroProfile will release, we will add support to Helidon, right? Mm-hmm. The second main goal we have GraalVM, right? So we support GraalVM and Helidon SE only for now, which is unfortunate. Mm-hmm. And we are working hard to bring GraalVM support to Helidon MP, right? So this is our second priority, right? And we are working on some cool features. Still, multi-part, HTTP multi-part is not finished. HTTP 2, we need to add reactive HTTP client. There is Helidon DB client. Actually, me and Thomas Langer, our architect, presented on Code 1, which is quite a cool thin layer library for SE, which allows to access databases very reactive way. And the library is basically created in Helidon SE flavor, so it means builders and this kind of stuff. It's great. Coming next sometimes. And we are working on something to support messaging, Kafka and stuff,
Reactive messaging from MP, I think, right?
It's going to be for MP, but we need some solution for SE too.
Okay, interesting.
Definitely, we are using MicroProfile APIs. So for MP, it's going to be MicroProfile API. Yeah, but for SE, something else.
Okay. Cool. So what's interesting to see is now we have. So what I do from time to time. So we are migrating sometimes an old Java EE projects to the new MicroProfile world, and which they get. For instance, right now I'm using Quarkus translated to native images, and then we could use Helidon in the future as well. And then what happens is the old Java EE projects become smaller than Go, or as large as a Go and smaller than Node.js, which is amazing. So you can use the old programming model and deploy, and save 90% of RAM comparing, to the old Java EE servers.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the advantages for GraalVM, right?
Yeah.
So you can do this kind of stuff. On the other hand, it's a little bit of a trade-off always, right?
Yeah.
So by doing that, you are using only static optimization, right?
Yeah.
And JVM actually gives you runtime optimization.
Yes.
So it knows the environment it works on, right? Yeah. And for long-running services, like with services we are using, like for Java EE applications, long running, the performance of JVM is faster than if you use GraalVM, right?
Yes.
So this is the trade-off, right? Yeah. If you care about the size, if you care about startup time, GraalVM, perfect, right? Yeah. No question. If you care about really performance, then possibly you should look at just normal JVM.
Yeah, and the reason is because the hotspot VM inspects all the time all the executions and is able to reject and re-optimize, and Graal is only able to optimize what it sees at compilation time, so can be slower than the hotspot, right?
Correct.
Cool. So thank you. I have a follow-up session with the chief architect of Helidon, so we'll focus on Helidon entirely, but it was fun to talk with you. So one of the reasons why I do the podcast, I see a lot of people at conferences. I never have time, to have a proper chat with them. So it's really nice to have a chat, 1 hour chat with nice people. And now we know about Helidon, right?
Yeah, it's quite cool. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it too.
Where people can find you? Your blog, Twitter, GitHub?
I have a blog, which is actually myname.net, Dmitry Kornilov, one word.net. And my Twitter, which I'm using quite a lot, is M0MUS. And I'm not going to say my email address, right?
No. Prohibited. Okay.
Yeah.
Then thank you.
Thank you. Great.